Have you ever felt like life has become so loud, so chaotic, that you can barely hear your own thoughts? We scroll, we rush, we chase, and yet, somewhere deep inside, we know we're drifting further from the person we want to be. But here's the thing, 2,000 years ago, people felt the same. The Stoics lived in a world filled with uncertainty, loss, and distraction, just like ours. And somehow, they found a way to stay calm in the storm, to act with purpose, and to live with an inner peace that nothing could shake. Their wisdom wasn't meant to be locked away in dusty books. It was made for moments like this. So, in this video, we'll walk together through 5 timeless Stoic practices: reset, restart, refocus, protect your energy, and discipline over feelings. Not as abstract ideas, but as living tools you can start using today. By the end, you'll see the path to clarity, resilience, and a life you truly own. Chapter number 1. Reset. Let go of the past. Have you ever caught yourself staring into the mirror, feeling as if a stranger is looking back at you? A version of yourself burdened by mistakes, regrets, and memories that no longer serve you? The truth is, most of us carry our past like an invisible weight. It slows our steps, clouds our vision, and makes even the simplest forward movement feel exhausting. And yet, if we are honest, that weight only exists because we keep holding on to it. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The past is a thing beyond us. It is gone. It cannot be changed. It holds no power unless we give it power." To reset means to make a conscious, deliberate choice to let go. This is not about denying what happened or pretending pain never touched you. Rather, it's about acknowledging the truth of your experiences and then releasing the emotional grip they have on your present life. Think about it. How can you step confidently into tomorrow if your hands are still chained to yesterday? A broken relationship that ended years ago still steals your joy when you replay the arguments in your head. A professional failure from long ago continues to whisper, "You're not good enough," each time you consider trying again. These moments are not life sentences, they are lessons. Seneca reminded us, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Letting go is not easy. The human mind clings to the familiar, even when it's painful, because the unknown feels uncertain. But the Stoics practiced exercises to loosen this grip. One such practice was premeditatio malorum the premeditation of evils, where they imagined worst-case scenarios, so that when adversity struck, they could meet it with calm acceptance. Applied here, it means imagining life without the weight you carry, feeling the lightness of spirit that comes from cutting those invisible chains. When you release the past, you are not erasing it. You are reframing it. Those heartbreaks, betrayals, and failures become chapters in your story that shaped your resilience, your wisdom, your empathy. Epictetus taught, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." By changing the way you interpret your past, you transform it from a prison into a source of strength. Look at history and you will find countless examples of people who reset and rose again. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated defeats, failed business ventures, political losses, and personal tragedies, before becoming one of the most respected leaders in American history. He did not define himself by the setbacks, he defined himself by his capacity to begin again. That is the Stoic way. The past, no matter how heavy, does not have to be the final word. Resetting is not a one-time act, it is a continual process. Every day offers a choice. Carry yesterday's baggage into today, or set it down and walk unburdened. Some people wear their past like a badge. I've always been this way, they say, as if change is impossible. But that is fear speaking, not truth. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, 1 year ago, or even yesterday. That person no longer exists except in memory. You owe them nothing. If you want to put this into practice, begin small. Write down the events, relationships, or mistakes that still haunt you. Beside each one, note the lesson you learned. Then, as a symbolic act, destroy the paper, burn it, shred it, let it dissolve in water. This is not magic. It is a physical declaration of your decision to let go. The Stoics valued such physical reminders because they grounded abstract ideas into lived reality. When you release the weight of the past, something remarkable happens. Space opens up for the present. You begin to notice things that were always there: the laughter of a friend, the quiet of a morning, the way sunlight filters through the trees. You rediscover gratitude, and gratitude, the Stoics believed, is the soil from which peace grows. So ask yourself, what would your life feel like without the chains of yesterday? What could you build? Who could you become if you were no longer dragging the past behind you? The choice is yours. Let the past burn, not in anger, but in freedom. Let it fuel your fire, not extinguish it. And when you do, you will find that the man or woman who rises from those ashes is stronger, clearer, and more alive than ever before. Practical exercises. 1. Make a list of past regrets, mistakes, or painful events that still weigh on you. 2. Next to each, write the lesson learned from that experience. 3. As a symbolic act, destroy the list, burn it, shred it, or dissolve it in water, while consciously choosing to release the weight it holds. 4. Journal for 10 minutes about what life might feel like without those burdens. Chapter number 2. Restart. Build a new foundation. There comes a point in life when the road you've been walking crumbles beneath your feet. Perhaps it's the loss of a job you thought would last forever, the collapse of a relationship you built your future around, or a personal dream that simply didn't work out. In those moments, the temptation to sit in the dust and mourn what's gone can feel overwhelming. But the Stoics teach us that the end of one path is not the end of life. It is the beginning of another. As Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the men. To restart is not to erase your past. It is to take the raw materials of your experiences, both triumphs and failures, and use them to build something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This is the moment where you decide that you are not defined by what has been taken from you, but by what you choose to create next. The Stoics saw hardship as a forge. The fire is painful, yes, but it is also the very thing that tempers steel. Your spirit is no different. Starting over can feel awkward, even humiliating. You may find yourself in situations where you are a beginner again, learning new skills, stepping into unfamiliar roles, or adapting to a lifestyle you never imagined. The ego resists this because it craves comfort and familiarity. But comfort, as the Stoics would remind us, often dulls the edge of our character. It is in discomfort that we sharpen our strength. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. After a fire destroyed much of his research facility in 1914, he told his son, "Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." Instead of despairing, he saw it as an opportunity to start fresh. Within weeks, Edison was back at work, rebuilding, innovating, and creating. His resilience came not from denying the loss, but from embracing the chance to begin again. In our own lives, the process of restarting can be guided by simple, deliberate steps. First, accept the reality of the loss. Do not waste energy wishing it were otherwise. Second, identify what truly matters to you now. In this new season of life, your values become the blueprint for the foundation you are about to lay. Third, take small, consistent actions that align with those values. Even if they feel insignificant at first, the momentum will grow. The Stoic practice of asterisk view from above can be especially helpful here. Imagine rising above your life, seeing your current struggles in the vast sweep of time. From that perspective, the failure or change that feels overwhelming now becomes just one chapter in a much larger story. This shift in view reminds you that the present moment, however challenging, is temporary, and that your response to it will shape your future far more than the event itself. Restarting is not weakness, it is an act of courage. It says to the world, and to yourself, "I am not finished." It is a refusal to be defined by endings and an embrace of the possibilities that lie ahead. Every legend, every great leader, every ordinary person who has achieved extraordinary things has faced this choice: to stay down or to rise and rebuild. They chose to rise. As you take the first steps into your new path, remember that the goal is not perfection, it is progress. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and days when the weight of starting over feels too heavy. But the Stoic wisdom remains. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Much of the fear you feel is a projection, not a fact. Walk through it anyway. The road ahead may be long, but each day you choose to build again is a victory in itself. In time, you will look back and see that what felt like an ending was in fact the turning point. The place where you stopped merely surviving and began truly living. And that is the power of the restart. Practical exercises. 1. Identify an area of life where you need a fresh start. 2. Define your core values for this new beginning. 3. Commit to 3 small, consistent actions each week aligned with these values. 4. Reflect weekly on progress, adjusting your plan as needed. Chapter #3. Refocus. Lock in on your mission. Look around you. The world we live in today is loud, restless, and overflowing with distractions. People scroll endlessly through their phones, jumping from one post to the next, chasing fragments of entertainment that vanish in seconds. They multitask constantly, their minds scattering like leaves in the wind, never fully present in one place. Weeks slip away unnoticed, months vanish, and years disappear before they realize how much time has been lost. For many, this cycle continues until one day they wake. Refocusing is not just about working harder, it's about choosing what truly matters and ruthlessly eliminating everything else. The Stoics understood this long before smartphones or social media existed. Epictetus taught, "You become what you give your attention to." Attention is life's most valuable currency. Spend it on the trivial, and you will live a trivial life. Spend it on your mission, and you will build something enduring. But what is your mission? It is not simply a job title or a personal goal. It is the central purpose that aligns with your deepest values. For some, it might be raising a family with love and integrity. For others, it could be creating art, building a business, serving a cause, or mastering a skill. Whatever it is, it must be clear enough that every decision you make can be measured against it. In the modern world, the challenge is not a lack of opportunities, but the abundance of them. Every day, countless paths open before you. Without focus, you wander from one to the next, making little progress on any. The Stoic exercise of memento mori remembering your mortality, can sharpen your perspective. Imagine your life as a finite number of days. How many of those days will you spend on distractions? How many will you devote to your mission? History is filled with examples of those who locked in on a singular mission and refused to be swayed. Consider Steve Jobs, who was famously known for wearing the same black turtleneck every day, not because he lacked style, but because he wanted to save his mental energy for decisions that mattered. Or think of Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire while still dedicating time each day to his journal, using it as a tool to refocus his mind on the principles he lived by. Refocusing requires boundaries. It means saying no to requests, opportunities, and even relationships that do not serve your purpose. This can be uncomfortable, especially in a culture that glorifies being busy and accessible at all times. But busyness is not the same as progress. The Stoics remind us that a life lived with intention is far more valuable than one spent in constant motion. To practice refocusing, start by clarifying your mission in writing. Reduce it to 1 or 2 sentences that inspire you and guide your choices. Each morning, read it aloud and plan your day around it. Remove at least one distraction that consistently pulls you away from your purpose, whether it's excessive news consumption, idle gossip, or social media. Set specific times for deep, undisturbed work, and guard those hours fiercely. Remember, focus is not a natural state in our modern environment, it is a discipline. Your mind will wander. Temptations will appear. Some days, you will feel as though you have lost the thread entirely. In those moments, return to your mission. Ask yourself, will this bring me closer to the life I want to live? If the answer is no, let it go. The Stoics also valued the concept of euthymia, described by Seneca as the belief that you are on the right path, without being distracted by all the footpaths that cross yours. This inner confidence comes from knowing where you are going and refusing to be pulled off course. It is not arrogance, it is clarity. Consider the archer aiming at a distant target. If he glances around at every sound or movement, his arrow will never fly true. Likewise, if you let every distraction steal your attention, your life's aim will scatter. But if you keep your eyes fixed on the target, steady, unwavering, your chances of hitting it rise dramatically. In time, refocusing on your mission transforms not only your productivity, but your peace of mind. You no longer feel torn between competing priorities. You stop chasing what everyone else is chasing. You live by your own compass. not by the noise of the crowd. And as Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Distraction is one of those things. Purpose is not. So, what is the one mission that deserves your focus? Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Choose it, guard it, feed it with your attention every day. Let the noise fade into the background while you walk steadily toward it. Because in the end, it is not how much you did, but how much of it truly mattered. Practical exercises. 1. Write down your life's central mission in 1 or 2 sentences. 2. Remove one major distraction from your life for the next 30 days. 3. Schedule daily deep focus time for work aligned with your mission. 4. Review your alignment with your mission every Sunday evening. Chapter number 4. Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is worthy of your time, your attention, or your emotional investment. In our modern world, where connection is constant and boundaries are often blurred, it's easy to forget that your energy, your inner vitality, is a finite resource. And just like any precious resource, it must be guarded with care. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that we should be as mindful of the influences we allow into our lives as we are of the food we eat or the air we breathe. Some people are not simply neutral presences, they are active drains. They take without giving, criticize without offering solutions, and leave you feeling smaller, weaker, or less hopeful after each interaction. Whether they mean to or not, they pull at your spirit until you are left depleted. Seneca warned against such company. Writing, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This is not about living in isolation. It is about choosing relationships that nourish rather than drain. Consider your energy as a bank account. Every conversation, every favor, every commitment is a withdrawal. If you're not careful about where those withdrawals go, you can find yourself emotionally bankrupt. And unlike money, your energy is not so easily replaced. It takes time, rest, and care to replenish. But if you are constantly surrounded by those who take without respect, you may never have the reserves you need for your true purpose. Protecting your energy often requires making difficult decisions. It might mean stepping back from relationships you've had for years, setting firm boundaries with colleagues, or limiting your exposure to environments that breed negativity. At first, these choices can feel selfish, but the truth is, they are acts of self-respect and, ultimately, of respect for others. When you guard your energy, you can show up more fully for the people and causes that truly matter. The Stoic practice of asterisk dichotomy of control is especially useful here. Ask yourself, what is within my control in this relationship or situation? You may not be able to change another person's behavior, but you can choose your level of engagement. You can decide who gets access to your time, your mind, and your emotional space. This is not avoidance, it is intentional living. History gives us many examples of people who fiercely protected their focus and energy. Take Maya Angelou, who was known to rent hotel rooms simply to have a quiet space to think and write. She understood that her creative energy could not flourish in constant noise or distraction. In the same way, your best work, whether in your career, your art, your relationships, or your personal growth, requires space to breathe. Protecting your energy also means becoming comfortable with saying no without guilt. No to invitations that pull you away from your priorities. No to conversations that spiral into negativity. No to being the emotional dumping ground for others' problems. The Stoics would remind us that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. To put this into practice, start by taking inventory of your relationships and commitments. Which ones leave you feeling drained? Which ones inspire and strengthen you? For the draining ones, consider whether they can be rebalanced or whether you need to create distance. For the uplifting ones, invest more deeply. This conscious curation of your connections is not cold, it's wise. And remember, protecting your energy is not only about people. It's also about habits, environments, and the mental diet you consume. Are you filling your mind with constant bad news, endless comparison, or pointless arguments online? The Stoics advised being selective with our attention because they knew that what we dwell on shapes who we become. In time, as you guard your energy, you will notice a shift. You will feel lighter, more focused, and more present. The noise of the world will seem quieter. You will find yourself with the capacity to engage deeply with the work and relationships that truly matter. And those who value you will respect your boundaries, because they will see the strength it takes to maintain them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By protecting your energy, you protect the quality of your thoughts. And in doing so, you protect the quality of your life. So ask yourself, who and what gets access to your inner world? Are they worthy of that privilege? If not, it may be time to close the gates. Not in anger, but in wisdom. Because when your energy is guarded, your life becomes your own again, and that is a freedom worth defending. Practical exercises. 1. List all your current relationships and commitments. 2. Mark those that leave you feeling drained versus those that energize you. 3. Reduce or remove interactions with the draining group. Increase time with the energizing group. 4. Set one clear boundary this week and hold to it. Chapter number 5. Discipline over feelings. Motivation is a beautiful spark. It lights up your mind. It fills you with enthusiasm. And it makes you feel unstoppable. But like a spark, it flares bright for a moment and then fades, often disappearing at the first sign of resistance. Discipline, on the other hand, is a steady fire. It burns through storms. It endures the cold nights. And it keeps you moving forward when the spark is long gone. In a modern world obsessed with feeling inspired before taking action, the Stoics offer a timeless reminder. Feelings are unpredictable. One day you wake up ready to conquer the world, and the next, you want nothing more than to stay in bed. If your actions are dictated by feelings, your progress will rise and fall with your mood. But discipline does not negotiate with moods. It does not wait for perfect conditions or the right emotional state. It shows up every single day, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. In his asterisk meditations, he wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." He did not speak of waiting until he felt ready. He spoke of doing what needed to be done because it was the right thing to do. That is the essence of discipline, acting in alignment with your values, not your impulses. In our lives, discipline is what carries us through the long, unglamorous stretches between starting and succeeding. Think of an athlete training for the Olympics. There are no roaring crowds during early morning workouts. No medals handed out for hours of repetitive drills. Yet it is in those hidden, disciplined moments that champions are made. The same is true in every field, whether you're building a business, writing a book, or raising a family. The Stoics also embraced the principle of amor fati love of fate. This is the idea of embracing each moment, even the difficult ones, as part of your path. Discipline thrives in this mindset because it teaches you to work with reality, not against it. You stop saying, "I'll start when things are better," and instead, you work with the conditions you have now. You stop wishing for ease, and you grow stronger through effort. Consider the example of Admiral William H. McRaven, who in his famous commencement speech at the University of Texas told graduates, "If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed." His point was simple. Small acts of discipline set the tone for the day. They build momentum, and momentum builds results. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Taking disciplined action now is the path forward. Discipline is not about harsh self-denial. It is about consistent self-respect. When you choose discipline, you are choosing to honor your long-term goals over your short-term comfort. You are saying to yourself, "I am worth the effort. My future is worth the effort." This mindset turns challenges into opportunities for growth. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle becomes training for your will. To cultivate discipline, start with something small but non-negotiable. Commit to it daily. Whether it's writing one page, exercising for 10 minutes, or practicing meditation, the size of the action matters less than the consistency. Over time, this daily commitment becomes part of your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, no matter the circumstances. Of course, there will be moments of resistance, times when your mind whispers excuses and your body craves comfort. This is when discipline matters most. Epictetus taught that we should not seek to have events happen as we wish, but wish them to happen as they do. And in so doing, we find peace. When you accept that discomfort, boredom, and even failure are part of the process, you stop fighting them and start working through them. In a culture that prizes instant gratification, discipline can feel old-fashioned, but it is, in fact, revolutionary. It is the refusal to be ruled by fleeting emotions, the decision to build something solid in a world of quick fixes. It is the quiet, patient work that lays the foundation for lasting achievement. Think of discipline as a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it may feel heavy and awkward, but with repetition, it becomes second nature. And just like a muscle, it can atrophy if neglected. That's why the Stoics trained their minds daily through reflection, writing, and deliberate action, so that when challenges arose, their discipline was ready. So, how do you measure your life? By the fleeting highs of motivation, or by the steady progress of disciplined action? The choice is yours. But remember this: no one can build your life for you. No one can walk your path. You alone decide whether to wait for a feeling or to act regardless of it. Discipline over feelings. Every time. That is how you create a life that is unshakable. A mind that is steady. and a spirit that is free. And in the end, when others falter and fade, you will still be standing, not because you felt like it every day, but because you chose to show up every day. Practical exercises. 1. Choose one small daily habit that aligns with your long-term goals. 2. Commit to doing it for 30 days regardless of mood. 3. When resistance appears, remind yourself of your larger purpose. 4. Track your consistency in a visible way. Calendar. Habit tracker. Conclusion. The Stoics did not promise a life free from hardship. They offered a way to meet hardship with clarity, courage, and dignity. In choosing to reset, restart, refocus, protect your energy, and place discipline above feelings, you are not simply adopting ancient philosophy. You are reclaiming control over your own life. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In the end, the wisdom of the Stoics isn't just philosophy, it's a mirror. A mirror that shows you not who you are now, but who you could become if you dared to live with clarity, courage, and purpose. Here at Stoic Timeless Lessons, we walk this path together, step by step, lesson by lesson, but the next step, that's yours to take. Somewhere inside you, there's a voice, quiet but persistent, that already knows the way. Listen to it, follow it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll discover that what you've been searching for has been within you all along.